everybody. Welcome to Homemade. I'm so happy to see you here today. We are going to rock out one of my favorite desserts of all time. Lush, creamy, decadent, amazing. All together today, we're going to make it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to get into the history of it. It's called Kulfi, and it is the bomb. And I don't know where you are, but right now it is like super hot here and muggy. And what I want is like an ice cold treat for, after dinner tonight, and so that's what we're gonna do. I'm Chef Bonny. I'm gonna be your guide today through passionfruit Kulfi, and joining me in the chat is the amazing Chef Mary. Say hello to the folks, Mary.
Hello, happy Kulfi all. I'm so excited for this.
Yeah.
The test went crazy. This is gonna be a really sweet recipe.
Literally sweet, so much sweet you won't know what to do with yourself. All right, so I don't know if any of you all tried this already, so I'm excited to hear if you have questions about how it worked out or what you did. Throw them into the chat. Mary's got it for you, and she will relay messages back to me so we can keep chatting about things. I do have this one underway. There's a little bit of magic of television in this recipe because it takes about 30 minutes to cook the milk down for the first phase of this recipe. So that's what's going on right here in this pot. So I've got in this pot 4 cups of milk, or 1 liter. So however you're buying your dairy, if you're buying your dairy in liters versus, your English measurements, you're going to be buying a liter. You can measure out 4 cups. They're really very similar in volume. So it's up to you if you want to get all fancy schmancy and do exactly 1 liter. I did 4 cups-ish, so you're good. All right, so you're gonna cook this down for about a half an hour, which sounds like an insane amount of time for cooking milk, but you also need to sort of attend to it so that it doesn't boil over and you have a terrible milk souffle on your stovetop, which takes a quick recipe into an all-day affair of cleaning your stove. So don't let that happen to you. I also like to keep my milk container like on the side, so I can sort of gauge when it's down by 50%. You can make a little mark on the side if you want to, but I just take my milk and I pour it right into my measuring cup, and then I know, oh, I started out here and now I'm about half. So it's a nice way to make sure you're on target. If you don't feel like doing that, don't worry about it. Just keep an eye on it. What you're looking for, though, is a nice silky, thicker texture on your dairy. You're gonna cook it down until it's just a little bit thicker and creamier. You're also gonna notice this is just the milk, and what you're gonna notice with the milk is you might develop a little bit of curd in there, as if you were on the road to making some cheese. Those little bits of curd are gonna be okay. They'll just be creamy when the whole thing is frozen at the end, so don't worry about that. In fact, I think I might have a little bit in here. Like if I tilt my pan, you see how there's little bits of curd down there? That's totally fine. Don't worry about that, and don't strain them out because they're extra sweet and luscious. Okay, so once I get to here, where I have my 2 cups or so of dairy remaining after cooking it down for about a half an hour, I'm gonna add in some other ingredients. So these ingredients are what we're gonna use to lush it up a little bit and make it extra thick and delightful. So one of them is heavy cream. And the reason I didn't cook down the heavy cream to begin with is because the heavy cream is so thick, I don't have to do much in the way of cooking it down. So this is a 1/4 cup of heavy cream going in. Boom. And then I'm gonna add in sweetened condensed milk, right? That's about, I wanna say 7 maybe ounces, half cup, maybe more like 4. Let me think about that for a minute. Oh no, it's a half cup. I was thinking, usually when you buy sweetened condensed milk, it's gonna come in like a 14-ounce container, random 14 ounces. And so you're only gonna use, you'll have about 10 ounces left when you're done. So we'll talk about in a minute what you can do with that extra stuff. But sweetened condensed milk is already cooked right in the can, which is quite amazing. They just take the milk with the sugar, they put it in a can, and then they cook it right in the can. And they cook it forever and ever and ever, and it becomes super lush and super sweet. All the sugars in the milk concentrate, so we don't have to cook that down anymore because it's already been cooked. And then I'm gonna add a little bit more sugar, so here is a half cup of sugar going in. And the purpose of what I'm doing right now is basically just to dissolve that sugar. I just wanna dissolve the sugar and mix all the ingredients together and make sure they're all the same texture. The other thing you're going to notice about this when you do it is that when you cook milk for a half an hour, 40 minutes, depending on what you do, it might get a little bit of a brownish tinge to it. So why am I cooking milk for 30 or 40 minutes, right? I'm cooking it for 30 or 40 minutes because I want to break down those sugars a little bit and let them come to the surface so I can really taste the sweetness of the lactose that's in the milk. Which is why you can't really substitute something else for this. It's really a milk product for sure. You want to make sure that you're really capitalizing on the sweetness of the dairy. And the more I cook it down, the more those proteins are going to break down, and then the more the sugars are going to come through, and then you're going to get this really complex, interesting flavor. Like, think about the difference between a teaspoon of sugar and creme brulee. You eat a teaspoon of sugar, it's like mwah, 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 sweet, whatever. You eat creme brulee, it's like lush, it's complex, it's interesting. And so when you caramelize or brown or cause a Maillard effect to take place, you're going to be deepening the flavors, and you might get a little bit of a color change with that too. So don't be alarmed if you see that. That's completely normal. All right, so this guy's going to cook for maybe like 5 minutes just to make sure that all those flavors mix and mingle, and that the sugar gets totally dissolved. As you're stirring, you'll feel pretty quickly that the sugar has dissolved. It won't be so grainy. So that gives me a chance to talk to you a little bit about kulfi. I don't know how many of y'all have made kulfi or had it before. It is a traditional Indian dish, but it goes way back to like the 16th century. It is ancient. And it doesn't use eggs. You don't churn it like an ice cream. It's really just about reducing the milk and adding in those extra lush components like the sweetened condensed milk and the cream, a little bit more sugar because sugar is just love in this recipe. And what you'll end up with is this creamy, lush thing that you didn't have to churn or do anything with. So I do like that part of it when you're trying to make some sweet treat for dessert. There's a lot of components when you make ice cream in your timing. So you have to make a base, and then you have to churn the base, and you have to freeze it for a while, and there's a lot of things to think about. With this one, all I'm going to do is cook the dairy, chill it, and freeze it. Boom, done, which is great. The series that we're working with all of us today together, the Savor the World series, is such a cool one because we basically are going around the world to all these different places, and we're experiencing their food through their desserts, and that's what this is about. So today we're going to India, and we're hanging out in this hot, beautiful climate with like incredible, beautiful people and so much color and dynamic range. And so this dessert, I like it to reflect that if you can make it do that. So we're gonna add some other things to make it not just straight up milk. We're gonna add like some colorful ingredients to lush it up a little bit. So the reason I'm cooking it down too and stirring all the time is I don't want anything to stick. You don't want the milk to stick. You don't want to rush this by like turning the volume up on the heat and then having it bubble up, because then you'll really break it down fast. And you want to stir it fairly consistently, which is great. You're going to get this luxurious mouthfeel, this caramelized depth of flavor, really wonderful. And you're going to get rid of all the excess water in there. So it's not going to be watery, and it won't end up being icy when you freeze it. Anybody got any questions out there while I'm hanging out stirring dairy?
God, what an amazing name for a show. Hanging out, stirring dairy.
Hanging out, stirring dairy.
No, I think some folks are blissfully lactose intolerant. You are not alone. You are not alone, and this is worth cheating for.
You are not alone.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. And this, of course, this class is sponsored by Savor Recipes via American Dairy. So we love our dairy in this class, and this is something that I think if you freeze it, and then you can just have a little bit, one a week. I mean, you can slow drip this to yourself.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing, too, just practically speaking. Most of us, as we get older, we tolerate dairy less and less. But what's nice is when you cook the dairy, you actually break down some of the lactose that causes issues. Like if I get a latte, I have them blast that milk so it is like extra hot. And then I can drink it no problem because the dairy's been broken down so significantly. So this has been cooking.
Okay, this is a hack, you guys.
Yeah, full on. This has been cooking for like 45 minutes now. I'm just saying, it's in pretty good shape. I think unless you have an allergy, which that's a whole other story. But if you just have a little intolerance, a super cooked dairy is really going to help you. All right, so this is looking pretty good. I'm going to add in a little bit of flavor now. So this is cardamom. This is ground. So cardamom is a seed inside of this cute little green pod. And what you want to do is you pop open the seeds and you smash up the inside and you're left with a powder. You can certainly buy it already ground. If you buy it already ground, you got to use it within maybe 6 months or so. Cardamom is really bright, really dynamic, but it also is volatile. And those essential oils that make it taste so yummy are just going to dissipate over time. So don't buy cardamom in big volumes if you're going to buy it like this. You can get it at your spice shop. You can probably get like an ounce at a time or even less already ground. But also you can buy those to have it for yourself. So this is just going to go in now. Now that my dairy's nice and cooked, in it goes. And then I think that's about it for these guys. I wish you were here right now and could smell this crazy face full of cardamom that I just got. Because it's really fresh, so it's just in my face. Don't stick your face down in something that's on fire on your stove. Just come down to the level of the food and then give it a little waft, like, ah. Oh my gosh, yeah. It's like some kind of a beautiful cardamom bath. And you could do all kinds of ingredients. Cardamom is really traditional. Sometimes you'll find rose water in here, or even like little rose petals will go in to make it beautiful. Just make sure if you're going to use any kind of vegetation, like a petal, that it's one that was, packaged for consumption, not like old dead roses that you've had hanging on your wall for a while. Like those probably had some pesticides or something in them.
No, we love our dahlias next to Chef Bonny, but maybe not in the Kulfi today.
Maybe not. We don't know. I mean, these are probably from somebody's garden. I think these are from Chef Diana's garden.
They are actually from Chef Diana's garden.
Something
you guys
tells
know.
me Chef Diana is not using a bunch of pesticides on her dahlias.
And she stuck some rosemary in there. Just a hack for your own kitchen. Stick some herbs in your bouquet. That's cute.
I'm going to let this cook for just another minute to let that cardamom flavor like mix into the fats in here. If you're going to have some leftover sweetened condensed milk when you make this, definitely save it. It's only good for a couple days in your fridge. I would say maybe 3 or 4 days, packed up, not in the original container, not in that little tin, but transfer it to a fresh dish and then cover it. But it's really good for certain things. You can make a quick little fudge sauce with it. You can, of course, add it to your really strong, intense coffee and make your own version of like Vietnamese iced coffee. You can even drizzle it over fresh fruit. It's quite lovely. I mean, somebody else has already cooked that down for you, so you might as well take advantage of it and use it. All right, so now this is all done, and I'm going to take it off the heat. This guy is the one that I'm making in front of you. I'm going to pull out the one that I already made so that you don't have to stand here and watch me ice this. But when I do this at home, I take this pot and I either just take it and put it right into a big bowl full of ice, or I transfer it back into the glass dish and I put the glass dish into a bowl of ice, and then I just stir it until it's ice cold. You will get a film that'll form on top of the milk if you don't continuously stir it. If you're in a hurry and you're not going to have time to do that right now, take a piece of parchment or plastic and put it right down on top of the dairy, and then you can chill it in the fridge. Otherwise, you'll get this really thick, dense milk layer that's hard to reincorporate back into it. So I do recommend that you either chill it right until you're ready to use it, or pop it in the fridge with something directly on top. It's not technically a custard, but it'll do that thing that custards do where they create this film on top.
Okay, true chef tips right there.
What's
you
that?
ever, those were such great tips.
Oh,
yeah. Are you ever worried, this is sort of from Chef Mary's brain.
Yes.
I am always worried about shocking my pan by taking something hot and putting it in the sink or somewhere cold.
Oh, sure,
When
sure,
you're talking about icing, does that come into play?
I don't worry
at
about
all?
a pan. I don't worry about a metal pan at all.
Got it.
But that's a great question. I would only use one of your tempered, heat-resistant type Pyrex things.
We love our Pyrex.
Yeah, they're the best. I mean, that's the entire history
Cool.
of them is like glass in laboratories that could get really hot. And they're fine with changing temperatures because when you pour it in, it's going to cool down right away because it's on this
Got
surface.
it.
You can
Okay.
also have it in the ice too when you do it and just pour it in. You should be fine with a good Pyrex container.
Okay.
I wouldn't do it in some random thin glass bowl.
Never a random
thin glass. No, don't do it.
Thank you.
Resist the random thin glass. Okay, so let's go get the one that we already made. Okay, so let me bring this one in so you can have a look at it. So it has the cardamom in it. It's nice and thick, and you can see, right, that it's thickening up a little bit, or it's thickened up quite a bit. See that? And you're also going to see there's a little bit of curd on there, and that's totally fine. Don't worry about the curd. The curd's just going to turn into creamy lushness as soon as you freeze it. So this right here is what this was, 6 hours ago. So it won't take that long to chill yourself, but I just mean this was made earlier today. Oh, it looks so good. So you could just take this and freeze it, and it would be totally amazing. We, of course, are going to lush it up a little bit because we like to lush things up a little bit. What I want to do is add some joy to this. So that's there. Let's fly in some joy. Joy.
Joy.
Joy
alarm.
Oh my gosh.
It's just a beautiful board of
I know.
items.
I wish you could smell this. This is so good. This is so, so good. Okay, can you see what I got here? So this is a passion fruit. This is what they look like when you get them at the grocery store or your farmer's market. They don't grow in a lot of our regions up here in North America. It has to be pretty hot to successfully grow passion fruit. I had a passion fruit vine at my house in California for years, and I never got fruit. I got these tiny little sad little drippy things. It's got to be pretty hot to grow passion fruit, but that doesn't mean you can't buy it. And then once you slice it open, you get this. That's what it looks like. Well, let me drip on here. Do you see that? It's like ready to go. So it's juicy, and then it also has these gorgeous seeds. And these seeds are edible. They're very pulpy, and look how easy they just pop right out. This part here, this white, you're not really going to do anything with that. That's good compost. But this part, the inside, is amazing. Now, here's the thing about passion fruit. It is sour, like really beautifully, lusciously sour. And what is this? Oh, so sweet. What have we got in here? Cooked down milk, cream, sweetened condensed milk, plus a half cup of sugar just for fun. Throw it in there to really lush it up. So this stuff is like lush city. So I need to balance it out with something. Passion fruit is not necessarily a traditional ingredient that you would find in Kulfi, but it's a really nice contrast to that deep, lush richness of your dairy mixture. You could also use other things, though. Like, what are some ideas for things that you could use if you don't have access to passion fruit? Like, oh my gosh, I went to the market, there's no passion fruit. Surprise, right? Which is pretty common. It's hard to find. I'm amazed that we actually got some here. What else could you do?
I just wouldn't sleep on lemon or lime. You could even get this lemon lime, you guys.
Oh, yeah.
That would be pretty good.
Sure.
But folks are saying in the chat also pistachio.
Oh, yeah.
Saffron, all that stuff.
You mean pistachio?
Exactly. But also berry jam. If you go to the farmers markets that are popping off all around us, you guys.
Berry jam would be great.
Yeah, that would be incredible. I could also see like a blackberry, like a tart blackberry, a tart blueberry.
Yeah, and also start thinking about your tropical fruits, because they are, passion fruit is a tropical fruit. So think about other tropical fruits that might be a little more accessible. Mango is great for this. Get some frozen mango or fresh mango and blend it up in a blender, and you'll be in great shape. Pineapple is great. I love taking pineapple puree and having those little bits in there. Some people don't want any texture in their Kulfi. Some people really like a lot of texture. I lean in the texture direction of this. But if you taste your passion fruit, it's gonna be sour, and go ahead and give it a little taste so you know what you're dealing with. Because it has a really beautiful, subtle sweetness underneath, but you gotta taste it, because, especially if you get the fresh ones. Because how long has it been hanging out? Like, has it developed a little bit of sweetness, or is it still quite tart? You wanna know. So this one's tart, but not insane. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of sugar. That's about a teaspoon, and I'm just gonna mix it in. Let it dissolve. And me personally, I don't want to strain it. I want some texture. How about you, Mary?
I too just want some texture.
Are you feeling it for texture?
We are shooting in downtown Seattle, you guys, so I'm sure you can pick up some of our fire trucks. It's also Seafair in Seattle this weekend, so we have the Blue Angels.
We might have some booms, some sonic booms
while
we're working here today.
Happening.
So just be prepared for a little sonic boom. It could happen.
It's very normal in Seattle. We have a lot of plane culture here, so we're used to it. Anyway.
There is one thing I wanted to talk about a little bit. Well, I'm going to let this hang for a second, and I just wanted to chat with you about the elegance of this dish. Kulfi is, like I said, it goes way back. Goes all the way back to this ancient empire, this 16th century empire called the Mughal Empire. And what was cool about this culture is they were extremely celebratory. So you would spend a bunch of time cooking this beautiful food. Like, can you imagine hanging out in India and like stirring dairy over a hot stove on a hot day?
We have air conditioning in here, and already that's hard.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
So imagine that. Then imagine that you live at the base of the Himalayas, and imagine that they bring giant chunks of ice down from the Himalayas, and that you can cool things and serve them to the people that you love. How amazing is that? So this culture very much celebrated community, very much celebrated people being together, and the cooking of something like this that takes all this time was part of the joyful process of making the food, which I think is really, really special. And you find that today in India too. Like, you'll see people sitting with like next to a giant fire with a big cooking surface here, and they've got like all these spices over here and all these things over here, and they're like throwing stuff in, and they're sweating, it's so hot, and they're just like, and everybody's laughing and celebrating, and it's just gorgeous. So I feel like you're eating this, you make this, you eat this, it's like connecting you to this old history of like celebration and community and joy, and I just think that makes it extra special. I just had to talk about that a little bit because I thought it was super cool.
I love it.
I know.
It's so cute.
I know, I love it.
Okay, as we're mixing this base sort of together, Steph had a question.
Yeah.
Is there a certain temperature the custard should be, or rather the base should be before chilling?
Oh, before
I know
chilling?
we kind of went over it,
like
but
I need to get it to a certain temperature?
Yeah, or is it just like ice cold? Is it just not hot? What do you think?
Okay, so I heard two questions, and I want to make sure I got this right. So is there a certain temperature you have to cook it to before you're done cooking is one?
Exactly.
Okay, and then is the other, how cold does it have to be?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So because you're not trying to cook eggs in here, this isn't a custard, so you're not trying to have the eggs cook while you're stirring it. It's just a little bit different. I don't know of a requirement to cook this to a certain temperature, except that I want to cook it down to half the volume of the original milk that you put in there. So go from a liter to a half liter, go from 4 cups to 2 cups. And once you do that, you're not trying to cook it down any longer. You're just trying to then dissolve the sugar. So that takes a couple minutes. And then when you run your spatula across the bottom, you're going to feel if there's any granulated sugar in there, and it's going to dissolve pretty quickly. So there isn't really a temperature I'm trying to go for here as much as I'm cooking it down. I would be careful of letting it boil. You don't want it to boil. You're just simmering. So you want to see a nice, gentle movement across the surface. You don't want to see a big like souffle of dairy over here, because that would be cooking it too hot and too fast, and then you really do run the risk of getting into scalded milk or milk that's on the road to cheese. And we're not making cheese today. We're making passionfruit Kulfi. All right, and then as far as cold, ice cold. Ice cold before you try to freeze anything, otherwise it'll just take forever. Also, most of the molds that I'm using, all the molds that I'm using today are plastic, so I don't want to pour anything hot into plastic. Traditional Kulfi molds are usually made out of like aluminum or some other metal, and they're shaped like a pretty little cone. If you can find Kulfi molds, those are really fun. If you can't find Kulfi molds, it's totally fine. What you're gonna do is get some little cups and stick a little thing in it. Like, they make these cute little bamboo like party forks. I love to use those because they're long. You can stick those on there, and then you just run a piece of tape across the edge to keep them at the right angle that you want them at. The other thing that's cute is you can put these in ice cube trays and then just pop them out as you like, and it's kind of cute to put like 3 of them in a dish, and then dust them with a little bit of, the nuts on top or something.
That sounds perfect for someone who's maybe lactose intolerant.
For instance,
I will not say if I am or I'm not.
Yeah. So if you buy, there's lots of different molds that you can use. These are popsicle molds, and that's nice too, because you can use them to make all kinds of different things. So you're not just constantly, you don't want anything that you're just gonna have to dispose of. So these are nice because they have the base already built in, and then they fit in here, and then they're gonna freeze up around the base. And then you end up with something that you can theoretically just pop out. So these are cool.
I have a question for you, Bonny.
I'm ready.
As we're sort of starting to assemble.
Yes.
So Angie is asking, might some passion fruit have too much acid that it curdles the milk? Because I know that when we work sometimes with pineapple and its various enzymes, we do run into the curdle.
Yeah, and
what do you think?
That's such a great question, because all of those tropical fruits have enzymes that curdle things. You know, that there's just that crazy enzyme in like mangoes, passion fruit, pineapple that will transform the proteins in the milk. But you just spent 45 minutes untangling those proteins. So those proteins are no longer nice, tight little protein bonds. They've actually opened up and released a little bit. So they're past the curdling stage at this point, given how much you cooked them. That's such a good question. I didn't even think to address that when I was writing this script, because it's just such a great question. So you're not going to have that problem because you have something that's already been handled, right? And
it feels to me almost the same process, well, in a way, to like tempering something. Like you're introducing elements to each other. Almost, yes. I'm thinking like almost like two nervous dogs at a dog park.
Two nervous dogs at a dog park.
Exactly.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Okay, so yeah, that's such a good question. Bring more of those, man. That's so good. All right, so I'm going to take my passion fruit pulp and I'm just going to drop it right in here. And if you leave the seeds in, which I like to do, they are a little bit on the heavy side. So they're going to drop down a bit into this mixture, but you did make a pretty thick custard mixture. So I don't know if you can see, but like it's like just right there on the sides. It's not really all the way down. So you can take a skewer, or for me, I just use the back of my spoon and I just kind of pop it down into there. And then I can also make an assessment about whether or not I'm going to need to add some more.
And Bonny, if we are the people that do not want textural kulfi, then how do we strain this out?
You just strain it.
Just
pop it through a fine mesh strainer and
Perfect.
You'll be just left with the juice. Definitely taste it after you do that, though. I feel like the seeds have a little bit of sweetness to them, and so if you take them out, you might be just left with straight, very sour flavor. So I do recommend adding a little sugar. And it's to taste, so you just give it a taste and see what you think.
And Alice in the chat says that she usually separates the seeds from the pulp using the dull blade of the food processor.
Tell me more.
Tell us more, Alice.
The dull blade of the food processor.
Oh, is it the one that has... Don't they have holes in them? Wait, I'll wait for Alice to respond. Let us know.
Yeah, tell us more about that. I'm very curious about what she just said.
Also, people are wondering, we've had this question a couple times today in the chat. Have you been to India, Bonny?
No. Only in my dreams.
But Bonny loves really the history of food.
And really good movies.
Yes, exactly. Has anyone in the chat been to India? And have you had authentic kulfi there? Or if you've had it before, where have you had it? And was it the homemade kitchen? Let us know.
I have to say, I used to teach this Indian cooking class that I was taught by an Indian person, all the recipes. And we had such a fun time learning all the recipes. In part, I think because it was so, it's like I said before, it was just so joy-filled. All right, let me see that. That looks pretty good. I'm a lover of the pistachio. I'm going to add a little bit more. And it was just intoxicating. You know, the enthusiasm and joy that they expressed. It was just so fun. And every time I went over to her house, there were like 12 people there, you know, and everybody was like hanging out, cooking, talking, tasting things. And it was like this effortless, beautiful, beautiful experience.
Oh, I love that.
I am looking forward to one day going.
It's like the definition of inclusion. Like you each get your own kulfi, but then you're all eating it together. Yeah. Like that is one of my favorite things.
I mean, yeah, and it's like you had a hot day, you know, you have a beautiful dinner and you just want to chill out and you've been cooking for hours. And it's like, I just want to have something refreshing and cheery and something made with love. And that's what these guys are. All right, so once you fill these, you're just going to stick this in your freezer. It's going to take about, I mean, I would give it a good 8 hours. So don't plan on having these for dessert tonight, but definitely breakfast in the morning. That'd be good.
Duh.
That'd work out okay.
Let's see. Alice said that the blade she's talking about is the smaller blade, not the sharp blade, in a food processor to remove the seeds.
I have never, ever done that before. I'm fascinated by what you're saying.
Okay, incredible.
Yeah.
And Carol says that she's been to Mumbai and had kulfi for the first time, and it was delicious.
Oh, that's so sweet. I
love that.
it.
This is my favorite part about this series. People are like, wait, I've had that.
Yeah, now it's like available to everybody. It used to be sort of like a special thing that only the aristocrats got to have, but now we can all have kulfi. All right, I'm getting some hot water in a bowl.
Oh, yes. We are trying to release these molds.
Unmold my magic of television kulfi. I just love magic of television. I don't know if Julia Child ever said it, but like to me, she was the one who just introduced the like, ta-da!
She is ta-da, if ta-da was a person, I think.
Okay, so this is the frozen one. If you try to pop these out, they're probably not going to pop out on their own. So I'm going to lower them into this hot bane of water to just get it going. I'm going to add a little bit more water to it. And then everyone in this studio, you're all going to have to eat these because they're going to be ready
Womp
now.
womp. Our tech director, John, just gave us 2 thumbs up. Thank you. Oh, this is a great question from Steph. Could we make one big batch, like a pint container?
Such a good question, and the answer is yes, absolutely, yes. Definitely. Because you basically did all of this creaming of the dairy and stirring and cooking it down to just the essentials, the fat and the lushness and the beauty. You can put this in a container and just scoop it out like ice cream. No problem.
Okay, no churn ice cream.
No churn ice cream, baby.
Love it.
All right, this is the moment of truth where I see if I can actually get these out of these molds. Pretty excited. Pretty excited to get it out of this mold. Come on, baby. Come with me. That's a great question. You can also save some of your passion fruit and your pistachios if you're going to scoop it out of a dish and put them on top. It's really nice to have a little garnish. And I will say I really love the way this looks with rose petals and like the tiniest drop of rose water.
Oh, yeah. That overwhelms quickly, too. But when it's the right amount,
yeah, I'm talking tiny.
Yeah. Rosewater and pistachio. I mean, that's the dream.
Yeah, rosewater, pistachio, dairy. Okay. Oh, come on. It's so close. Bum, bum, bum.
Oh, my gosh. Oh. Well done. Well done, Bonny.
Okay. This looks pretty good. I better make sure it's okay. Ready? Oh, my God.
Here we go. Oh, I'm so happy for you.
Oh, you're going to be happy for you in a minute because ridiculous. Okay. So it is lush. It is creamy. It is fruity. It's full of, like, sunshine. I can taste, like, the sun beating down on one of these beautiful pieces of fruit and, like, lushing it all up. And now it's in my mouth, and it's amazing. Okay. Please go forth and cook this. Savor the world from India and beyond. Remember, this is a monthly series, so that means every month you have an opportunity to make a new recipe, a new gorgeous dessert recipe from somewhere in the world. You can see more at savorrecipes.com, which is kind of fun. Like, go do a deep dive over there and see what other stuff we've already done and what's coming. You want to explore the different countries and the different regions around the world through their desserts. It's a really nice way to visit the world from your own personal kitchen. There's going to be another one coming up on August 25th. We're going to make Black Forest street cake. So I'm going to be back for that one. I can't wait. It's going to be super delicious. But go forth and cook and make beautiful food for yourself and your nearest and dearest. And thanks for being here with us at Homemade.
I'm going to go right up there right after we wrap. Have one of those.
I'm going to be right here.
Kulfi. Thanks so much, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Bye,
See you later.
everybody.
Bye.